If you went back in time to talk to me as an 8-year-old child, saying I was going to be making a video about my experience being in high school as a senior, I likely wouldn't have believed in you. At the time, I thought I was going to be dead before junior high because I didn't know how lockers worked. This is a true fact. I cried countless of nights over this. High school was something that, to me, as I'm sure many others can say for the past, 100 years, a passage into adulthood, involving an abundance of stories, friends, cool kids and jocks, and car rides, and lockers that would kill young Ivan. As I entered in Ames, it was an ability to experience that myself in a new atmosphere, an ability to detract from my previous lifestyles and friends, to enter an area where I can really just prosper. Before Ames, I used to attend Hunter Junior High School, heading into Hunter High. I was in a group of friends whose sole purpose was to just do crazy stuff, specifically just to make others laugh. I realized after a while, though, that I never really laughed with them, but rather they laughed at me while I tried to grab the attention of those who were supposed to be my friends. And it felt very isolating, having the idea of staying there longer than I really needed to. So, I went into Ames. Going into Ames, it was definitely a fresh air of socialization with new people from around Utah that I really needed. I didn't make much friends right off the bat, but when I did, it was instantly involved around a diverse group of many like-minded people within it.
Approaching freshman year, you were like, okay, these are my expectations. You know, you were like, I'm gonna die using the lockers.
As a freshman, I thought it was really funny and just, you kind of stood out from the crowd in my opinion.
You ate hand sanitizer.
Oh, me, I forgot about that.
I wasn't exactly the best freshman, and I definitely had my struggles when I first entered Ames. I was welcomed by this group of boys that I'd come to find as friends, and I ended up relapsing into this idea where I felt like I had no choice but to entertain them. Secretly inside, I felt like I was really just struggling at the seams to try my best to fit in, because in reality, I felt like I had struggles finding my own identity in the beginning of this place. It was a new location, new high school, new people, and I really didn't know what I was supposed to do that was the correct way.
Okay, I have all these expectations going in, and I am also met with several expectations about myself. Oh, I think there was some weirdness to you as a freshman because of that. But I think also as a freshman, you were like, bro, I'm confused and I don't know why.
So, I resorted back to what I knew best, trying to be funny and doing the craziest things I could do to prove that I was. I was struck immediately with people freaking out over the fact that I ate many borderline poisonous and hazardous things. I remember one of the students in my year came up to me and told me that people were calling me the kid who ate everything. Shortly after this, I was sitting by myself when another student came up to me, gave me a gift that was something I found quickly was something I was obviously supposed to be eating when I looked up and saw a group of people staring at me with a camera pointed straight towards me. I realized that I only succeeded in achieving what I wanted by being known, but I quickly also realized that by doing this only to myself, I only felt more isolated as a person and quickly wanted out. I left my original friend group by the end of the year, and I found myself friends that enjoyed me for who I was as a person and not an entertainer by my sophomore year. And yeah, it really worked out well. My education skyrocketed at this point, and I felt like I was finally being able to get the grip of things. I had a huge amount of friends that were supportive, and I knew when I was comfortable and when I wasn't. As the fall went and winter came, I made sure to get my studies in and finish with a bang. I had straight A's with only a few B's, and I knew that spring and summer coming right around the corner was something that both me and all my friends were ready to have the best times in our lives with. As we got prom tickets and set plans to go to Laguna, every single hotspot event in Utah. It goes without saying, but COVID in general just really sucked. I mean, not only was it a time where you couldn't escape the media no matter where you go, if you even could go anywhere, but in terms of my education, it really just felt like any sort of high school identity slash lifestyle experience I had was just immediately grinded to a halt. I had like a bunch of friends that I could have had supportive that ended up only turning into really just 3 people I could talk to, and they were barely available. I think if I could come up with any lesson that Ames provided me in this time, it was probably just the idea of just self-responsibility. The idea of just keeping all the things that I loved and endeared close to me, and the things that would literally and metaphorically infect me far away from my life.
As everyone did over quarantine, we changed, but Ivan changed in a very interesting way. It seemed like he became more into the world. Like, he saw things that he didn't want to be and things that he didn't want to do, and he grew as a person.
No, as a senior, I mean, I think there's this whole, if the freshman year you was like, oh no, expectations and identity, you as a senior now are like, I'm going to actively rebel towards any agencies or forces that push me into any expectations and or figuring out my identity kind of thing. That like you are much more autonomous than I think you were as a freshman.
I've seen you turn from someone who was kind of try-harding to get into like friend groups and stuff, to someone who kind of like finally realized that they were an individual and they could make their own friends that were like them without having to like try to make friends.
Only usable footage.
No.
Let's cut out the part from
Ames, in this sense, really just helped me recognize that outside of school, once I graduate, I really wouldn't have anything else to help me be motivated to really do anything else other than my own fruitions that I wanted to discover myself. Any interests, hobbies, or just things I wanted to look more into. And I felt like this time was really important to discover that. That was a good take. That was a good improvisation.
Is that good? Is that all right?